So after I decided to document my shiny hunting career on YouTube, I've come to the realization that the shiny hunting sector of the Pokemon community was way larger than I could have ever imagined. I remember back when I was little, albeit I didn't shiny hunting only took up a small niche of the community. Now it's everything I see. Even people who don't even know the franchise well can tell you what a shiny Pokemon is. It's that widespread now. This is largely in thanks to all the amazing PokeTubers who still to this day are able to inspire many casual fans to shiny hunt through their fascinating and intriguing content. Being one, I've received numerous comments from people explaining that one of my videos actually made them decide to hunt what I was going for or pick up one of their older hunts they paused on. I've also had a couple people send me continuous updates on their current hunts throughout the months, and honestly, keep it up. It's amazing to hear stuff like that from you guys. It really puts into perspective, for me at least, how influential people on the internet can be to someone's life, whether it's for the good or for the bad. Regardless, shiny hunting has almost become a trend now, being one of fans' favorite pastimes. It feels so weird. On one hand, I'm so glad it blew up and reached so many people, but bittersweet at the same time because this small hobby isn't mine anymore. It's all grown up. Now getting back to the main point of the video, I've also received some comments from you guys asking for advice on how to get started with shiny hunting, maintaining your focus, or some setup tricks to help you out along the way. Since I couldn't find a video of this style on YouTube, I've decided to compile 10 tips on how to efficiently shiny hunt Pokemon in nearly any game. I want to try to keep this list as broad as possible because everyone's doing different hunts, but this advice should help you out regardless of your hunt. A lot of it will focus on the more mental aspects of hunting and how to retain your motivation, so I hope this will be of great help regardless if you're just getting into the hobby or you're a seasoned pro. These aren't ordered in any way either, so prioritize which ones are most important to you. But without further ado, let's hop into the list. Now, if you're like me, you don't have all the time in the world. A lot of us only have at most a few hours of free time before we have to tend to our liabilities. That is why if you start shiny hunting, you should keep track on average how many seconds it takes in between encounters. This will help you gauge how many encounters you can reasonably do in a minute, 10 minutes, or even an hour. If you can guesstimate how many encounters you'll be at by a certain time, set that as your goal. For example, if I'm hunting for a shiny Kartana and every reset takes around 20 seconds, that means I'm expecting 3 encounters a minute and 180 every hour. And if I only have 2 hours of free time, I can set a mental goal of 350 resets to not only give me some wiggle room, but to also keep me motivated to surpass that number. This has helped me tremendously in the later stages of hunts, especially when I'm tired or a little bored. It helps me keep my focus as well as my pacing and also prevents me from calling it quits unless it shines. I, and probably many of you, are great multitaskers. It's generational. Growing up with the internet really enhanced our abilities to multitask and diversify our attention. Most of you are probably doing that right now while watching this video. If you ask anyone, shiny hunting isn't really that fun, especially when it gets really bad. Hey, I get it. Sitting in the same place for hours at a time, turning a system on and off really doesn't sound like the most rejuvenating weekend. That's why I say to you, do something else. Anything else. Watch TV, watch this video, watch OV tear up the goals record. No, seriously, to keep your attention, ironically find something else to do in the background while hunting. Even talking on the phone or listening to music could work. Just don't get too focused on that other thing or you might just miss out on what you're looking for. These two may be in contrast to each other, but they are both tips I recommend trying out yourself. If there's a specific Pokemon game that you enjoy shiny hunting in, by all means shiny hunt in there. For a while, I would cycle between the Gen 5 titles, Awesome and Brilliant Diamond. That is because those games have routine hunts for me. I don't need to prep, I don't need to research, I just know what I'm doing. Shiny hunting and Black and White or their sequels will always be interesting for me and I always have new ideas for who or where I should hunt. Those games are my niche and where I feel most comfortable, and if there's another game where you feel the same way, that can be enough motivation to keep you hunting. On the contrary, trying something new is always exhilarating. Find a game or a method you haven't tried or dipped your toes into much. Researching the method, Pokemon, and odds is always enjoyable and it's fun to learn something new. If you haven't dabbled into many Masuda methods, try a Masuda method. Maybe you skipped out on Oraz and never tried the Dexnef. Try picking up something like that and hey, you never know, you may really enjoy it. It might become one of your now niche hunts that you return to regularly. Overall, it never hurts to try something new, especially when it comes to enjoying a game you haven't touched too much in a completely different light. This one's gonna be short and sweet. Just have a counter. There are many free apps and websites that you can search up that will do the job regardless of what device you have. I very much recommend you use a counter for any hunt possible just to quantify your progress and set a goal for yourself like I said previously. Also, a slight side note, many people tend to really over-exaggerate the resets when hunting without a counter just because time moves slower when you're hunting. So to seem more believable once you get your shiny, just have a counter with the exact number for proof. Hey, and it's also a nice sense of reward knowing that you resetted this amount of times for one shiny. It just makes that hunt even more special. Muscle memory is a great thing we all possess, and just like any competitive or high-skill game, shiny hunting requires a little bit of muscle memory in order to hunt as efficiently as possible. Because most hunts involve rhythmic inputs of the same buttons, it does not take long for a hunt to become very autopilot-y. So if you were able to establish a rhythm where you can routinely do one encounter within a certain interval of time, you could substantially increase your efficiency in how many encounters you can do. That'll also help you determine the amount of encounters you can do within a certain block of time, which can give you the comfort to diversify your attention to other activities you may do while hunting. Overall, developing good muscle memory for your hunt will make you more comfortable with who you're hunting for. Just make sure you're not too comfortable. This one does not apply to everyone, and don't feel obligated to spend a bunch of money just for shiny hunting, but if you have multiple consoles, it will drastically help you out with how quickly you can find a shiny. Think of it, instead of doing one encounter every 20 seconds, you can double or even triple that. So if you have multiple Game Boys, DS's, or even Switches, feel free to hunt on as many consoles as you can handle. I always find an even number of systems to be the most easy, whether that be 2, 4, or 6, because then one hand can operate each console and it's way simpler to form a good rhythm that way. One neat trick I want to share with you guys is that if you're soft resetting on more than one DS, try wrapping an elastic band around each DS to hold both the L and R buttons down. This will make it so you only need to press start and select in order to perform a soft reset because the elastic band is holding down the other two buttons for you. It just makes soft resetting a lot quicker, especially if you're dealing with several consoles, but don't worry, this won't harm the DS's at all. But just to reiterate, one console is perfectly fine, so don't feel excluded just because you own a single Game Boy, DS, or Switch. I've seen plenty of people find some pretty amazing stuff really quick using just one system. This one is very important as it concerns every and all shiny hunts. Make sure you over-prepare for whomever you're hunting for. Even come prepared for the weakest of shinies because you just never know. Steps on how to adequately prepare for most shiny hunts include purchasing a lot of your preferred Pokeballs, having a Master Ball if possible available for emergency scenarios, bringing a strong party the wild Pokemon cannot overpower, which also means purchasing revives and or potions to keep your team healthy, and if you're on a modern game, having a catching power available to you for those Pokemon with a low catch rate. For Pokemon the Bring, I recommend using something that is able to weaken in status the shiny. For that job, I recommend Smeargle or Breloom as they both get access to Spore and False Swipe. Lastly, I'll go over the strat for those unaware, but bring Pokemon with the ability Harvest, the move Skill Swap, and either the move Trick, Switcheroo, or Bestow. For that, I recommend Trevenant or Exeggutor because both get access to all the above, but just as an FYI, Harvest is a hidden ability for those two Pokemon. I'll go over why these Pokemon are significant. Any Pokemon with the ability Harvest has a 50% chance of restoring its consumed berry after every turn, and the Leppa Berry restores 10 PP of any move that has been depleted to 0 PP. See what I'm getting at here? What you need to do first is have your Trevenant or Exeggutor hold a Leppa Berry with a hidden ability Harvest. Then you have them either use Trick, Switcheroo, or Bestow, which will give the Leppa Berry to the target shiny as a held item. Afterwards, you use the move Skill Swap, which switches abilities with a target and gives them the ability Harvest. Once you have this setup all complete, the wild shiny Pokemon can never have its PP depleted to 0, thus causing it to never use Struggle and damage itself. This is because whenever any of its moves run out of PP, the Pokemon will eat that Leppa Berry, causing that move to be revived. And since the Leppa Berry got consumed, after every turn there is a 50% chance for the Leppa Berry to be harvested, ready for use again. It's a strat I've used numerous times now, and even in my Kyurem video. I think I did a pretty good job explaining it, so hopefully that all made sense. This next tip is analogous to the previous one, but more focuses on the Pokemon you are hunting. I cannot stress this enough. Do research on the Pokemon you are hunting. Whoever it is, look up their moveset at that level, their ability, their stats, their catch rate, and even its level or encounter rate. This will help you in not only not failing the shiny, but have a better understanding of who you are hunting. If the Pokemon you were hunting knows any self-damaging moves like Double Edge, Final Gambit, or Self-Destruct at that level, make sure you are adequately prepared for that. Bring a Pokemon with the ability Damp to prevent any explosion-like moves. Or even better, if the shiny has a move like Double Edge or Final Gambit, bring a Ghost type so you're immune to both normal and fighting type moves. You can also imprison those said moves, but that's a little less simple. I'll put up a couple pictures of every move that causes recoil or the user to faint. Next, if you're hunting a specific Pokemon via random encounters, it may be a smart idea to research what level they spawn at and how rare they spawn. Pokemon Database is a useful tool to find all of this information. That is because if the Pokemon you are looking for is at a higher level than the other Pokemon that spawn in that area, you can use a strategy known as the Repel trick. I think many of you may know this, but for those who don't, repels prevent any Pokemon lower than the level of the first Pokemon in your party from encountering you. Meaning if I wanted to shiny hunt Cacnea on Route 111 in Pokemon Emerald, all I would need is any Pokemon that is level 22, since Cacneas only spawn at level 22 while the other Pokemon spawn at a level lower than 22, therefore affected by the repel. This would ensure that I am only encountering Cacnea so I can guarantee myself a shiny one and not some other Pokemon I didn't want or already have. This strat is mainly used to narrow down and increase the odds of high-level Pokemon you are hunting for. Just to note, according to Bulbapedia, this does not work for fishing, phenomenas, ambush encounters, or horde encounters. The abilities Hustle, Vital Spirit, Pressure, Intimidate, and Keen Eye also increase higher-leveled spawns all in their respective ways. Lastly, there are also many abilities that attract a specific type of Pokemon if the Pokemon with that ability is at the front of your party. I'll list all those out on screen. Just note, only Static and Magnet Pole work in games older than Sword and Shield, while the rest of them only work Gen 8 and up. And finally, there exist different probability-altering powers in some games that can influence encounter rates, such as the past powers in the Gen 5 titles. Now that we're out of the more specific mechanical tips, I want to go over a couple more mental pointers to wrap this video up. First is to try not to push yourself. Shiny hunting is fun and all, but try not to turn it into a chore. Have fun with your hunt and try to keep it as casual as possible. Know your limits, and if you feel motivated that day, feel free to go beyond that, but make sure you're not forcing yourself into anything that you will dread. That is because if you start hating the hunt you were doing, your brain will start to form negative associations with that hunt, causing you to push it aside and procrastinate. This may also cause you to feel repulsed by shiny hunting in general due to your brain believing every shiny hunt will be as much of a burden and a chore as the last one. So don't burn yourself out. Don't make yourself dread returning to a hunt, but also don't let this scare you away from sessions where you're really in the zone. Similar to what I mentioned last, have fun. Nobody's forcing you to shiny hunt, so enjoy yourself and try to have as much fun as possible with it. You can even enjoy shinies outside of when you're hunting. For example, join a community. There are tons of Pokemon fans who love to talk about all things shiny or shiny hunting. You can really bond with people that way and discuss your interests with people who feel as passionate about it as you do. It will really make both of you guys love shinies even more than you did before. There are also hundreds of YouTube channels and videos dedicated to shiny hunting. Find a PokeTuber whose content really resonates with you and maybe get some inspiration from them for your next hunt. YouTube is a great medium to not only share your passions, but also gain inspiration and motivation from other creators. Maybe watching a certain someone can help you out along your shiny hunt, or give you some tips on how to hunt better. Overall, YouTube is a great way to engage with the community, learn new things, and especially meet new people. You can always document your hunts as well. I did that far before I got into YouTube. Anytime I found a shiny, I'd record myself catching it on my phone along with my reaction throughout the entire process. I just think it's a cool way to catalog your progress so you can document your own timeline of shiny hunts. And hey, it's always fun to look back on them in the future for some good memories. Finally, if you have any IRL friends who also shiny hunt, it may be a nice idea to collaborate with them and hunt together. It'll just give you guys something you can both have fun with and enjoy with each other. Being able to share the passion with others, including your friends, is a huge help when it comes to enjoying what you are doing. Even if they aren't too into shiny hunting, it always feels good to share something you like with someone you are close with. Oh my god, shiny Kyurem! Shiny Kyurem! Let's go! Shiny hunting is a very fun hobby that definitely looks simple at a quick glance, but can become as complicated as you want to make it. I also understand that there are many people who may lose hope and motivation when they enter a long stretch, and that was kind of the purpose of this video. I know there are a lot of people who are stumped right now and in search of a beacon of advice, whether it's concerning the mental aspect of a shiny hunt, the efficiency of it, or just different approaches they can take to improve their experience. I'm not the forefront of all things shiny hunting, which is why I want to pass a torch down to you guys in the comments. If you have any sort of advice or tips that I missed in this video, feel free to jot them down in the comments section below because who knows, it may really help out someone in need. This can be a personal experience of yours or maybe a strategy that helped you stay on track while shiny hunting. To sum it up, I'm so blessed to be part of this community, and for all you guys who enjoy my content, I really do love shiny hunting and all, and I know that's what gets all the attention, but I do have passions in other things Pokemon and even franchises such as Mario, so expect that type of content to be uploaded on the channel as well, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that stuff too. I don't want this solely to be a shiny hunting channel, not only because I have other interests as well, but I also want to pique the interest of people who may not be big into shiny hunting, but rather the TCG, other Pokemon topics, or completely separate franchises such as Mario or the Wii series. I just want this channel to be diverse, that's all, and not tunnel vision to a single topic. That's all for my little spiel, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you took something from this video because I thought it'd be pretty useful to make in my version of giving back to the community. Alright, I appreciate you guys for sticking around, make sure to rate 5 stars, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye. Tip number 11. Don't shiny hunt, just don't do it, guys.